In 30 seconds, you will be witness to one of the greatest online events in the history of, well, online events. Descript proudly brings to you a topic that you deeply care about and whose name is the title of this online event. I'm Don. I am not your host. I am an overdub stock voice included for free with Descript. So, now, let's meet someone who actually works here.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Good evening or good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. My name's Harmony Jarudek, and I'm a customer success manager and product specialist here at Descript. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be talking about all things video in Descript, how to capture it and how to edit it. And I am joined by my wonderful colleague, Jack Blanchett. He's our business development manager. Hey, Jack.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm good that you're here, and I'm excited.
Well, Harmony, any minute that I can spend working with you is a good one. So excited to be here. Glad to be talking about video. Actually, my background is in video production. I used to be in television production. So part of the reason I really like Descript is for the cool capabilities that it enables with video. So excited to talk to all of you about it today.
Fantastic. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. For some of you that are brand new to Descript, you might be asking, what is Descript? What does it do? Why is it important? Descript is a collaborative audio and video editor that allows you to essentially work like you would in a Google Doc. You can edit your underlying audio and video by simply editing your script. So we're going to dive deep into that shortly. And then also, for everyone that's here, tell us where you're joining us from in the chat. Use the chat to also ask questions as we go through the webinar. We want to be able to, we want to be able to address your questions as they come in. So drop them in the chat and we'll be happy to help. Jack and I are joining you from sunny Southern California. So it's actually pretty hot here in San Diego, Jack. I don't know about you.
Yeah, still sunny. So hopefully, maybe we can go catch a wave or two after we're done with this. So
awesome. Well, first things first, what are we covering today? So we're talking about capturing and editing video. So the first point that we'll be looking at is how to record video. Guess what? You can do that with our screen recorder. And so we're going to cover how to do either your desktop, record that, or a full webcam recording. Then we're going to talk about if you already have recorded some video, how do you get it into Descript? How do you import it? How do you transcribe it? And then start editing it. And then from there, we're going to touch on organizing your media, some best practices for that. And then how do you get it out of Descript? How do you export it? And knowing what type of file type or timeline you'd like to export. So we're going to cover a bit of that as well. So Jack, I'm going to give it over to you. Let's start with the screen recorder.
Awesome.
What's possible? Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. I've already got a Descript window pulled up with a project open, but when you boot up the app, you'll see we've got a little on Mac, a little D icon that appears up at the top. When I'm here, I can record my screen, and I've got a little bubble here. Sorry, you got to see two of me at once. Twice as much of me, never a good thing. But you can, this is a great way to record and share presentations. I can move my icon around. So if I'm, trying to show you a few things, or I want to pull up a presentation, I can do that. Or let's see, maybe if I want to, review a PowerPoint that Harmony sent me, I can do that. That's easy from there too. But the other cool thing is I can also record my entire camera. So I'll pull this over from my other screen. So this is great for if this is the kind of standard vlog intro. So another good way to capture full frame video for yourself. So let's go ahead and get this started. So you can see I can hit the record button and welcome all of you today. Thanks so much for joining us, and we're really excited to be here with you. we're going to show you a lot of different ways to record and edit and start to build some cool content in Descript. So thanks for joining us. And then once I'm done recording, I think the other really cool thing about this is that we'll start transcribing whatever you recorded, either from your screen or from the entire window. So you'll see this transcript pops up in just a few seconds. I can then, you can see I had some uhs in there. I can remove the filler words with just one click. I can easily add some markers if I want to help myself find this later. I can retitle whatever I was working on right at the top. You can see really easy to get started recording or Harmony. Even you can use it to capture our conversation. Maybe we could boot up Zoom in one window, turn on the screen recorder, and have a conversation there.
Yeah, absolutely. I use the screen recorder every day, mostly just, in terms of using it as an internal communications tool. So if I need to send you or Jay a quick video, it's really easy to, share my screen or create a full webcam recording like you just did. So another thing I like about this too is that if you're, if I wanted to add this to an existing project, I could easily just copy it, add it in. We'll cover a little bit of that later on. Is there anything else, Jack, maybe for folks that are on Windows machines, anything that we could impart to those users since we're looking at a Mac? A Mac today?
Yeah, we're looking at a Mac today. So you'll see the Descript window is right up here at the top. Oftentimes in Windows, it'll be down in the bottom in your taskbar down there. Obviously I've got both a Mac and a Windows machine. It works really well on both. There's some features that the Windows recorder, is I think just released full featured camera recording.
Nice.
So yeah, just brought up to speed. It should have everything that you need there, but same features that you love and have come to expect: live transcription, easy video editing, and of course the quick editor, which makes it really easy to send and share video.
Awesome.
So how do you?
Hey, and it looks like we've got our we've got our first question here. How'd you do that so quickly, Jack?
Well, for me, one of the things that's really convenient about Descript being is that it's kind of open all the time. So if you can turn it off if you'd like, but I think the great thing about having that little taskbar icon is it just makes it really easy to just go ahead and jump right in. Just hit the button. You've already got yourself configured. You can go into your preferences and change your recording quality. If maybe you want to save it on a team drive, I can change it. If every video that I wanted to save onto our Descript company drive, I could do that there. I can turn off or on comments for when I publish a page. If I don't, maybe every time I record an editor, I don't really want to use this quick editor. I want it to be more full featured. I can turn that off. But there's a lot of different settings there. And I think the one other thing that I'll point out is our keyboard shortcut. You can configure this to be whatever you'd like, but the great thing about that is, when it's open all the time, it just makes it really easy. Hit that button, go ahead, start your screen recording, and start sharing right away. So makes it really simple.
Okay. Awesome. Another good question. Can you use this while you're broadcasting live for a podcast?
Yes, you can. We will transcribe everything you have. I would say if you're going to record a whole podcast or whole vlog or something like that, the screen recorder is great for that. There are some other tools out there that are good for that too, and we have a lot of people who use both our screen recorder and other tools. But yeah, give it a try, see how it works for your workflow.
Nice. And then I know we're gonna. Today we're primarily focusing on video, but you can easily record a remote recording, let's say via Zoom, or even like Zencastr or Squadcast, and then pull it into Descript. But we have a great help article on how to set up for remote recordings if that's a method that you want to take.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that we've done in the past is set up a Zoom call. So I mean, we could show that right now, or we could show that in the future, whatever makes the most sense. So.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to, we can just show folks really quickly how to go about that?
Let's do it. I'll fire up Zoom.
And then while Jack is pulling that up, another thing that you can do is when you're importing into a Descript composition, you can also import from a Zoom link as well. So for those of you that might be wondering, you can also do it that method as too.
All right, Harmony, I'm gonna send you this over. See if I can get you to join my Zoom meeting. I turned off Slack so the notifications wouldn't bug me, but now here we are. So.
Actually, you know what, Jack? For the purpose, since today we're going to try to get to some editing, why don't we'll put the help article in the chat. Jay, if you don't mind throwing in the how to do set up for remote recordings, that would be great, and we can move on from here if that sounds good.
Yeah, but this is the simple way to do it. Is I can boot up Zoom, hit screen recording, go ahead and get started. So it works just as well with me as it does with Harmony inside it. So yeah, maybe a little clumsy, but there I go.
Awesome. Perfect. Nice. Awesome. So now let's shift a little bit, Jack. So let's talk about importing, doing a bit of transcription, and then how to go about editing from there. So right now you have a Descript project pulled up. Let's maybe talk through that workflow of just getting material in and kicking off that process.
Yeah, that sounds great. So if I'm back in the Drive view, what I'll do is start a new project. When I'm right here, that makes it really easy to just create a new composition, and I can throw in a lot of different things, videos, images, audio, and just kind of start organizing my project from here. So let's start from scratch. So you just saw that video that's already transcribed. So I'm going to call this Among Us 2. I've got that video on my desktop right now. So you can save video down to anywhere and just drag and drop it directly in. So the process works the same for audio or as it does for video. So then, like you can see, my transcript is already started. If I've got a speaker name, or maybe it's just me speaking, I can go ahead and put that in there. In this case, I'll just hit done. You can see what happens is that we kick off transcription right away. You can easily follow along right up here. See how we compress, optimize your video, and then you can follow along from there.
Awesome. Hey, Jack. I think your audio is coming in a little bit rough. So I'm happy to take over the screen share for a moment, and then we can clear up your audio a little bit if that sounds okay. Okay. So I'll go ahead and share my screen so that we can take a look at the same project. The beauty here of this is that Jack and I can collaborate on the same project. So Descript was built for this in order for teams to collaborate on projects. So I'm going to share a separate window here. Bear with us. Thanks for bearing with us here. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, excellent. So now I'm going to just change my output here. Okay, so now what we have here is this transcript. So Jack imported that file, and within moments, we have a script that we can start working with. So I'm just play this really quickly.
So you want to play?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I might want to start cleaning up. I might start cleaning up my transcript by perhaps removing some filler words. I might want to get rid of some gaps where I might have some awkward pauses. I can also do things like just, let's say I want to take the front end of this video. All right, I'm going to copy that. I'm actually going to remove it from the front, and now I'm going to put it at the tail end. So cut, copy, paste. It's as easy as that. So now that underlying audio and video is now at the tail end of my composition. So you're just cutting it, moving it from one spot to another. It's that easy. So from here, I might want to remove things like some filler words. So you can do that in a couple of different ways. You can either right click here on the script, or we can go up here to the search and look for some filler words. All right. So the nice thing here too is that I have multiple compositions in this project. So I can either search for filler words throughout the entire project or just in the composition that I'm in. So in this case, I can, let's say if I just want to get rid of just my ums and uhs, I can simply select those and then hit delete. I can also ignore them if I just want to go through, do an initial review, and then I can always come back and delete anything that I've ignored. So really easy to start cleaning things up and ensuring that your final video is going to be ready for distribution. Okay. So now, I'm gonna, Jack, it sounds like Jack's back, so I'm gonna pass the mic back over to him. So I'll go ahead and kick it back over to you, Jack. How's that sound? Oh, we're not hearing you just yet. So
I've muted everything just so I wouldn't interrupt you, Harmony. So
no, you're awesome.
I promise I'm just trying to be polite here. So
no, you're coming in loud and clear now.
Great. So we were talking just a little bit about bringing this video in. I know, do we want to get into transcript correction? Do we want to, where should we go next, Harmony?
Yeah, so just, we're talking kind of about the basics. So transcription, correction, and speaker labels. Why don't we go from there?
Perfect. Sounds good. So one thing you'll notice sometimes as you bring something in is that our transcription is only 95% accurate. So there's going to be a few words that it misses from time to time. It makes it really easy to fix whatever word you're looking at. So maybe if I know these words are incorrectly transcribed, I can then go down right here and click correct, and then I can type in whichever word I was looking for, and then hit that green button, and it will automatically be applied to my video. So that way I can be sure that I have 100% accurate transcript. Either I can go through and check these manually, or we even have a really cool feature that I'll point out too. Is you can go up to this little wrench icon at the top and hit detect transcription errors. And what this will do is rerun AI transcription on whichever piece of video or audio that you brought in. And it'll point out the words that the AI is like, hey, I'm not sure that this word's right. So if I hit submit, it'll run this error detection on this. And in a few minutes, I'll have every word pointed out for me that I need to correct. And you can easily go from 95% accurate to 99% accurate.
Nice. And then in addition to the transcription wizard, there's some other things built in that you can use to get you closer to that 100% mark. Another thing being the transcription glossary. Jack, do you want to, we could pull that up and show that off?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my favorite tools because you can see not only is this list shared by all projects and all users on a team drive. So if you're working in a team, you can add, your product name, your company name, specific last name. Here's Harmony's last name. And my favorite example is oftentimes the word descript. The AI transcription thinks it's the letter D and then the word script. So yeah, this is how we can show you that our transcription glossary works. Is if it gets our own name correct, then we know the glossary works. So this is another way that you can really customize the transcription to fit your project needs.
Awesome. And then thinking about bringing material in, some other tips around creating speaker labels, that makes it really easy. Let's say if you have multiple speakers, you'll have a script view, right? That you'll be able to go from one speaker to the next. And this is a great example here. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I really love about applying speaker labels to transcripts is that it makes it really easy just to navigate back and forth and see who's talking when. So where's that one quote I was looking for? What is the context of what's being said there? I can easily follow the flow of conversation, and I can see that visually too. You can see Kevin's text is all in blue, or I can easily scroll and see where the conversation changes to be in purple. So that's a great way to not only kind of identify what's going on, but maybe if I want to then export this as a Word document and have a paper transcript of whatever I'm watching here, you'll always be able to export those speaker labels along with it too. So the question is, maybe I brought something in, and how did I want to apply speaker labels? Well, let's show you how that's done.
Awesome.
So I can go into my project files. Let's see if I can find. There we go. So there's the file. That's the name of this video. I can click on these three dots right here, and then hit Identify Speakers. So our speaker detective will detect the differences in people's voices, and then allow you to apply all of these speaker labels automatically. So I can hit Get Started. In just a second, it'll play who's playing.
Yes, I think, and actually, I would even say that the issue is even more intense these days because there's now
go.
very prominent people in public life.
And this is the two speaker. I know this is two speakers, so this has to be Kevin.
Something that
There we go. So the speaker labels get added, and you can see we've done it in this case, but it works really well when you start from scratch too.
Awesome. And so, Jack, one of the things you're showing now is our new project sidebar. So for those of you that have been using Descript a little bit longer, more than, let's say, the last 2 or 3 weeks, now you're seeing things organized a little bit differently here. This is actually, the reason we did this was from some of our video power users in Descript. So now you're seeing a breakdown of all of your compositions plus all of your project files, like Jack was just showing here.
Yeah, and I think the best part about this is it makes it really easy to not only kind of see what all the project files were, but to be able to create your own folders as well. So if you have a couple, maybe I want all of these compositions to go into a specific folder, I can do that. Maybe if I want certain project files to be in one place or another. Let's see if I can go into this folder. I think that's the great thing is, maybe if I've got a few interviews, I can pull these in and know that all of my interviews are going to be in that folder as well. And the other really cool thing is that I can start to search through my files as well. So if I'm just looking for video, if I'm just looking for audio, if I'm looking for, where was that one thing that I hadn't transcribed yet, I can click on this button and see which pieces of video hadn't been transcribed yet, which images were maybe used or unused, and then all kinds of filters to slice and dice and be effective and find out those things that you're looking for, or even search by name. So there we go. So I can see that in my project files right there. So some really helpful ways to help you move through a lot of content faster.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this. This has been a game changer for me, in using the product every day. So being able to use that new search has been really helpful. Awesome. So now let's talk about editing. So we're talking about like importing, doing some transcribing, adding speaker labels. So now that we have some material to work with, maybe let's talk about when to edit in the script versus editing in the timeline.
Yeah, that's a great topic, and I think one that a lot of people will come and ask us to say, the thing that's really cool about Descript is the ability to, edit, copy, cut, delete, paste, like a Word document, and that's just so much more intuitive for video editing. It's so easy to move the text and move the audio as well. But what if I need to edit things in bulk, or what if I need to really drill down into something specific? When should you go and touch the timeline? And for a lot of you who've been editing video for a long time, this is kind of the way we're used to editing video. So you'll see that we've got a couple of your favorite selection tools down here. So the select tool, which will allow you to click on a clip specifically. So if I want to, maybe then go into my inspector up here and change the volume of one specific clip, or the clip speed, or if I need to turn down the opacity, or if I need to, move this clip left or right, that's definitely a good reason to go down and grab the timeline. Same thing for a range selection. If I, for whatever reason, if I want to delete between some spaces, and you can see what the conversation or the narrative is also reflected up here. So I can always, see what I'm ready to delete if that's what I want to delete. Or I can always bring something back as well. So you see, I just deleted something, but then if I go back to the timeline, you'll see I get a little kind of, it looks like a staple almost. And I can just pull back on the timeline and reveal what I just deleted. So those are a couple of reasons that you'll want to go down and grab the timeline. Also to make cuts, maybe the blade tool, and then start selecting your clips and moving them around and adding cues and all those things that we love to do with video editing.
Nice. So just to kind of summarize, so working in the script, it's easy enough to cut, copy, paste from there, use some of our keyboard shortcuts like the E key to go and make a correction, or the Q or W key to adjust punctuation or capitalization. That's easy enough as well. And then down in the timeline, that's where you can, grab back those non-destructive edits, do some things in the timeline, manually adjust word boundaries if you need to. So maybe let's dig into that a little bit. So now that we've talked about the timeline, Jack, what are some things you'd say, like what we can do now that we've got our script? Can we add captions and pin tracks? Maybe we could talk through that a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the right place to go. So, let's say I've started from scratch. I've got everything that I want. I've recorded myself. Maybe I've recorded something outside of Descript. I've brought it in. Now it gets really easy to start to add things and start to really spice up this video. So I'm going to do one thing really quick. So let's see. If I go to, so in preparation for this, I prepared as though I were a YouTuber. I recorded myself. So I hope you'll humor me here. So one thing also, I'll show you this too before we go too far. Descript has multi-window support, which some people, they don't know about. But the great thing about this is that it works exactly like a Word document. So you can see I've got one project here, so that I can just copy all of this, and this is the project that Harmony and I are collaborating on, and it makes it really easy to just hit paste and move all this audio and video from one place to the other as well. So those are some cool things I can do with multi-window. So you can see I recorded my stand-up here. So what can I do once I'm ready to start mixing things in? So if I've got images that I want to drop in, maybe spice it up, or some other video tracks, maybe I want to showcase an image. I can just drag and drop this in. You'll see it looks like a push pin. So I can drop that push pin right there, and that'll pin an image to my track. So that's one place to get started. I can also add audio the same way. If I wanted to have, maybe a Bon Jovi or a Bruce Springsteen song, I can bring that in and just add it again like a push pin to the track, and just my audio video there. And I can to really manipulate and change my video and make it sing.
I love that. Yeah, that's one of the things members usually tell me is like, I can't believe I can just drag it onto the track and then go in and then start making, changing the gain a little bit, or if I want to add some crossfades in my video, I can start to do that down in the timeline as well. Yeah,
and the good point in comments right now, you can also hide jump cuts with B-roll. So you can see I've got some uhs and ums here. So maybe I want to, if I just want to be blunt and remove all of these filler words with just one click, Maybe there's kind of an awkward cut. Maybe I'm standing in this side of the frame in one side and then this side of the frame in the other. I can, one thing that I think is super cool is that I can actually select the words here and just drag my cursor over it. And then if I've got a little piece of B-roll, maybe in this case from my Lego review, if I just drag and drop this right there, it'll add the B-roll for exactly as long as those words that I highlighted. So you can here's exactly what I put on for as long as. So if I'm talking about one specific thing, I can grab this. If I want to grab an image and put it over just these words, I just drag it in, pull it right there, and there we go. You can see it drops it on over my face easily. So
awesome. And then another thing too, like since we're down, we've got a question here. If you have a talking head video and you edit on the text instead of the timeline, say removing ums and uhs, will that look jumpy in the video?
I think it really depends on the situation. Sometimes it looks jumpy, but in the world of YouTube, we're maybe all a little bit used to jumpier video than in the past, right? So I think it kind of depends. Is that if you're shooting really high quality, really high frame stuff. Maybe it'll look jumpier than others, but I think the great thing is that it's always really easy to find where your cuts are on our timeline as well. So let's see if I can go find some of my uhs and ums. Maybe I'll zoom out a little. This is our zoom key. And I guess I one new thing that we have is.
You did it perfectly. It's all in one take, it looks like.
Yeah, I guess I did. I was going to say that there's also one thing. If you find an edit point, you can also hit restore removed media, and this will add that back. If you're looking for maybe a little more natural pause or something like that. I guess I accidentally got rid of all my filler words. Sorry about that, guys.
Awesome. But that's a great solve to do that.
This is a good point to point something else out too, is that nothing is ever lost in Descript. We have full version history. So if I wanted to go back to this project just a few minutes ago, I can view it and then restore exactly what I was looking for. So in this case, I hadn't even brought in my YouTube recording yet, so I wouldn't want to do that yet. But anyway.
And then one thing, if we go back to your YouTube recording, Jack, this would be, and then we'll get to Sally's question in a second. I just wanted to point out, you can add, I just left a comment for you. So there's, it's easy enough. I think you added it in the
I got to go back. There we go. I got to go back to the right place. Where's my version history? And then I want to go to 3 minutes ago. See that we use this all the time internally, just because it's easy to make mistakes.
Nice. Yeah. So if I have a question for Jack at a certain point within the composition, I can highlight a certain portion and say, hey, what do you think about inserting an image here or something like that? So it's easy enough to leave a comment just like you would in a Google Doc, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the great thing about that too is that it makes it really easy to respond, collaborate. We even have some teams that use that. They're much more productive that way because maybe their producer goes in or they're working in an edit team. Your producer can go in and drop a few comments. Then your editor can just focus on the places that they need to do some cleanup, and it really can help you be more productive.
Nice. And then, I saw Sally, she had a question. Not sure if she had asked this yet. If the same word is consistently spelled wrong throughout the entire transcript, can you make corrections to them all at once?
Yeah, awesome question. This is really useful where you can go to our search bar over on the side. And then this will help you find almost everything. So I can pick, we used a lot with filler words, right? So I can get rid of the uhs and ums. So I can ignore these. I can delete them. I can replace them with a gap clip. I can not. There's a couple of options there. The thing about ignore. Let me see if I ignore these just to show how that looks. It'll put a little strike through everything, so it's easy to see where your uhs and ums were, and then you can bring them back if you want. And hopefully I'm not crashing everything. Okay. So there we go. So ignore is actually something that a lot of our like professional editors really like, is just to see how something looks and sounds, because we'll just basically mute that track just for a second, just so you can play over that. So anyway, I got off topic. To answer your question, if I want to change everything all at once, I'll go into text, search for the word I'm looking for. So let's say if I wanted the word future to be in all caps or something like that, I can go to correct transcript and then hit apply to all. And there you go. You can see it updated that in all these places. So let me hit apply to all in these cases as well. And yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's easy to, if for some reason the transcription is putting things all the wrong way, or you've got a specific, word or phrase that you want to use, just go to that correct transcript feature, and you can easily change all of those things at once.
Nice. Yeah, another thing I like to do here, sometimes if I'm removing filler words, I might do that, but then choose to leave the gap clip, right? If I know some folks often use that as an option.
Yeah, it's a good way to kind of keep the spaces and kind of keep the natural pauses if you're looking for some of those too.
Yeah, exactly. So here's a great question from Christopher. Does restoring a previous version revert work done everywhere inside of the project, or can you pick and choose between compositions? It's a good question.
I believe the answer is it works everywhere inside a project, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's what I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the great thing about it is if you know exactly when you need to go back to, it just gives you that option to just with one snap of your fingers bring everything back. As somebody who's edited a lot of video in the past, I know that sometimes can give you anxiety. Like what if I lose all my work? But no, that's definitely something that won't happen with Descript.
Yeah, the restore version has saved me a bunch of times. Whispers in a Bottle, great question. So could you bring in other recordings from, say, something like Headliner or even another Riverside FM or something like that? Sure thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of, like I said, professional teams that use it that way. Maybe they like to record a Zoom call and then bring that in. We have a one-click integration, so that if I hit add new and then file from a link right here, I can paste a Loom link, I can paste a Zoom link, and it'll copy whatever I recorded and pull that right into Descript and go ahead and kick off transcription right away. So that's really helpful. But yeah, if you've got something exported, maybe from Headliner, here's a couple of other videos that I brought in, so I can always add new, create a new composition.
And we'll get to the exporting in a moment, but essentially
Yeah.
anything you can export, you can import file-wise. Does that sound about right, Jack?
Yep. And if you try and bring it in and it crashes or doesn't work, let us know. We always love to find the things that will make it not work. But yeah, anything that you can export, you can bring in.
Nice. And then a few more sort of like editing pro tips. I'm thinking about working down in the timeline. Something that's relatively newer is being able to do multi-clip selection. So maybe we could talk through like when and if that would be useful.
Yeah, that is a great question for sure. So I think one thing that I find myself doing with multi-clip selection, and you can see down on the timeline here, I've got kind of my handles that will, and my cuts that will show me where a clip exists. So let me maybe zoom in a little bit. I'll make this a little bit bigger, just. in the interest of seeing things. So what I can do now is I can click this, I can hit Command, or I can hit Shift, grab a couple of these. So there we go. And then what I can do is go up here to the inspector. And I think one of the things that's really useful about multi-clip selection is it gives me the opportunity to do, maybe if I'm trying to speed everything up, or I need to, scoot these over, or I need to move them up. Everything that I can do to a single clip, I can now do to multiple clips at once. So, if you have a few clips where you need to bring the volume down because your dog walked in behind you, you can do that. If you have a couple clips that you need to speed them up to twice the speed, you can see, there we go. I went ahead and did them on those right there. But yeah, a couple of, or I think some other good ones maybe too, maybe mute or turn the volume down or add an effect over just those couple of clips. So a couple of cool things that you can do there.
Awesome. And then let's say let's have this larger video project. I'm ready to hand it off to a producer, and we want to maybe create some selections for social media or create like a quick highlight reel. We have some best practices for that?
Yeah, there's a lot of great ways to do this, and I think some cool ways that people have come up with it. Perhaps what I think the coolest one to do is to start and use our highlighting feature. So this is a great way to, if I know, this was a great quote from an interview, this was another good quote, maybe these are the things I want to turn into, my 30-second trailer or my audiogram or my social media clip, to get people to go from Instagram to YouTube or something like that. I can find my best ones. I can highlight exactly the things I want to pull out, and it'll highlight the audio and video. Then I can go over here to the side, click these 3 dots, and then copy all my highlights. So this will work with different colors if I highlight things that maybe have some different topics. And I think one of the great ways to use this too is if you've got one long video, that if you want to break it down into, maybe you want to repurpose your long video into a couple shorter ones. But we'll address that in just a second. So I can go highlights, create a new one, and then paste. There we go. And the audio and video comes right with it. So one other cool thing about this too is all the highlights all the edits are non-destructive. So if I'm looking for that next sentence or I didn't highlight something correctly, I can just go down to the timeline and add a little context or find that next word if I cut something off a little too soon. So easy way to go from something large, maybe an hour-long video to something 30 seconds long with just one click.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I use the highlights all the time to extract like good meeting notes and, quotes that we want to grab, right?
Yeah, perfect example.
So one last thing on like working with video before we talk about publishing and exporting, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention using overdub with video. I know I use it all of the time because oftentimes I'll, flub a word and I need to go in really quickly, kind of with a knife and just replace a single word either with my overdub voice or even use some of our stock voices to, generate a narrative if that's something that I'm working on. So I think Jack is ready to maybe show us his overdub voice.
Yeah, I again, sorry that you got to hear so much of me today, but I think you made a good point about our overdub stock voices first. So I'll just start with that and then go into my overdub voice and how it works with video. But we'll have a lot of people that will use this. They'll set up an overdub voice, and then maybe if you want to hear how something is paced or just kind of see how long it's going to look. So maybe if I wanted to just try a few things and see how it sounds, it's just easy to copy these in and then add your video layer on top of it after. You can see how quickly overdubs starting to generate already. but yeah, we have a lot of people that will use this just to get the timing, to understand, to listen to maybe it in some different voices. So I think that's one thing that's really cool. And this was from our webinar notes today. So, but the I think the most useful thing for it is if you start, maybe I realized that, I said the word awesome and then I said awesome again. Maybe I didn't want to do that. Or I said Thursday instead of Friday or something like that. Well, it makes it really easy to just go to overdub. I can fix this word. Harmony, what's a good synonym for awesome?
Outstanding. Wicked.
Okay, so then I'll type that in there. It'll generate my overdub voice. Let's see how well it blends in.
Nice. And the other thing too, while this is generating, for those of you just getting familiarized with overdub, check out the documentation we have on it. It'll walk you through how to set up your overdub voice, how to even generate what we call styles. So you can create different styles based on existing material that you already have in Descript. So if I need to, create a section where I sound a little bit more excited, I can create a style based on some of that existing material in Descript. How does this sound, Jack? Should we take a listen?
Let's see how it sounds. So you will notice that overdub doesn't correct the lip flap. So I know that's one question that people ask a lot, but let's see how it sounds. Awesome Legos, and today I've got an outstanding one for you. It's from the Avengers collection. Okay, so not bad. Not bad. For my first ever Lego YouTube review, I think this might be a winner.
I think it's going to be a hit. I'm going to watch it. Cool. So Tony has a question here, and this is a great question. So I noticed add effect in the clip properties window. So what type of effects are available? There's sort of a toolkit that you can work from in terms of adding doing zooms and pans. You can use our conductor to, there we go. Maybe Jack can talk about some of those cues that you can pull from.
Yeah, so there's a couple of video effects that if you click this add effect button to answer your question directly, we have a compressor and an equalizer built in, and actually really soon an awesome speech enhance tool, which will remove some of the background noise. So be on the lookout for that. But there's some other kind of video specific features that we have too. So I'm going to pull up my conductor. I hit the keyboard shortcut for it, but you can always hit this plus button. So what I can then, and the thing I like about the conductor is that I can just scroll or type, if I forgot what the keyboard shortcut is or something like that, I can always add that. So if I want to add, a rectangle and get rid of my own face, I can do that, or kind of build a lower third for myself. I can do that. I can also add, let's see what kind of cues I can do. So cues, so I can add a couple of cues. If I can add that specifically to the rectangle, or I can add that to the script track. If I wanted to add a zoom. So there we go. Here's my keyframes over on the side. So let's see if I zoom in down here on the timeline, I can start to experiment with my keyframes. So it's easy for me to move my keyframes. So keyframe 1 is at the beginning here. So I can, maybe if I wanted to start over on this side, and then by keyframe 2, I wanted to pan myself the other way. There we go. This is really becoming an awesome intro. But you can then hit play. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel where I review awesome Legos. And today I've got an outstanding one for you. So there you go. So those are a couple of effects that you can start to add right there from our conductor or this plus button.
Very cool. So we're getting into the last 10 minutes here, and let's maybe shift, Jack, and let's talk about publishing. So kind of knowing when to, when to export, what are your options. You can choose from cloud, file, and timeline exports. There's some good options for either doing a quick review or some ideal candidates for social media. So maybe we can break that down really quickly before we sign off.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, I'm huge on YouTube for my Lego demos. So if I want to publish directly to YouTube, I can do that from here. I can hit this button. I can name the page. I can this first. What it'll do is publish to a Descript page. So I'll go ahead and publish this and then show you how it links up from there. Whenever you're kind of looking for, how do I get something out of Descript? What you're going to want to do is go up to this share button, export, and then you'll see all the options available to you. So I can publish directly to YouTube. I can make an audiogram out of this. So it's taking a minute to load here. I can grab just this. There we go. So I can change this to customize my accent colors. I can add my own background image. These are great ways to promote your video in a little different format. I see these on Twitter all the time. A couple of other cool things I can do. Like I said, can turn these into Word documents. Exporting SRTs or VTTs I know is huge for accessibility and can kind of be a pain sometimes. So the great thing is we'll bring something in, transcribe it, and then you can export it directly from Descript with the subtitles. Export as audio, make an MP4. You can also make a GIF right from this or GIF. I don't want to make anybody mad. And then I think the most useful thing for video folks is our timeline export too. So maybe if you're working in Premiere or Final Cut, I can hit this button and we'll generate an XML for you. And then this XML you can bring into Premiere and start doing your After Effects and your really high level, super, if you're ready to take this from Avengers YouTube Legos to the actual Avengers, you can go ahead and start to do that in Premiere.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to hear from our members, how teams are collaborating between Descript and some of these other software solutions. So, as you guys have probably seen, Descript is really sort of a one-stop shop for narrative media. And, as you need to continue to build in cues, things like color correction, at that point, it probably makes sense to export a timeline, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Harmony, is that, we have a lot of people who start their projects in Descript, because you can bring everything in, you can organize, you can easily go from, I have 10 hours of video to cut down to the tracks that I want to see. And it's always, so easy to reference where the conversation is heading or get rid of those filler words or things that are tough to do in other formats. But, if you're going to really do, kind of that next step, that adding After Effects, things like that, you'd rather export from Descript, kind of once your narrative is built, because it's great to build your story here. And then, we play well with others. So take that next step there.
Very cool. Let's see. I see another question from Christopher. Will Descript offer ways to fine-tune exporting to Audition, for example, track names, track assignments, track colors?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that's something that we're always working on. We're always looking for feature requests like that. I think that's something that we've been thinking about. Ways to certainly improve our export. I don't know of anything that is Audition specific at this time. But yeah, definitely something that we're always thinking about is how can we, keep offering you the customizable options that you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then one other thing, thinking about some of our export options with some of our integration partners, what you've probably seen is that there's a lot of audio options right now. You can export to, Headliner, Buzzsprout, other things, but you can also export to things like Video Ask. I think we also have some other really great integrations coming soon. So when you go up to share, export, check out some of the soon to be new integrations. We'll continue to add there as feature requests roll in.
Yeah, right now,
That's a great example.
Some cool options. We use eWebinar. If you want to see a quick demo of Descript, and Harmony is kind enough to host that. You can export directly to Headliner. I know there was a question about that earlier. So if you've got audio or video, you can get a really awesome customizable audiogram from there. Video Ask, another thing we use. Maybe you've seen us on if you've written in through our enterprise portal. Restream, which we're using right now to stream this. So yeah, a lot of great options to export to kind of your preferred hosting partner too.
Fantastic. Well, I would say everyone keep the questions coming. Jack and I are happy to hang around for the next few minutes. We're here to help you and answer questions. But in the meantime, please go to our help center. We have a lot of great documentation that you can reference based on the type of workflows that you're trying to accomplish. You can also join our Discord community. There's always a lot of lively conversations going on there. So check out our Discord. Yep, there we go. Join our community there. And thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate all of the questions, all of the requests. And in the future, tell us, if there's topics that you'd like us to cover in future webinars, let us know. Otherwise, you can go to our YouTube page. All of these webinars are recorded, and so you can always watch them later on if you weren't able to join today at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, and you can
Jack.
also add titles in Descript directly. So thanks everybody for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack, for joining us today. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, it was fun. And you got to see the world premiere of my Lego YouTube channel. So
exactly. We'll be expecting episode 2. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, maybe next time if we're lucky.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. I'm Harmony with my colleague, Jack. Join us again for the next webinar.